Hey everybody, happy Monday, Huddle Time with Ronit. It's that time, Huddle Time with Ronit. I super miss you. I feel like, every once in a while we take a break on a Monday and we don't really come on Monday. We take a Monday break and we do it for different reasons. We do it because we just need to get more creative. We do it because we want to try to reach a broader audience. So anyone who is coming into today's show, please invite anybody that you think this is good for them. Every Monday we come here live with American Beauty Show, who is our partner and our sponsor for Huddle Time with Ronit. And we partner together to bring you a lot of great information, a lot of great speakers, great people, experts in so many aspects of running a business or developing your self worth or developing yourself, how to get to find yourself sometimes in every aspect, whether it's wealth, wellness, financials, business, really good business practices. And today we are going to be talking about your story. Yeah, about your story. What is brand story? And whether you are a salon owner, whether you are a beautician, whether you are a professional licensed, whether you are yes, that was my word. That was Ronit word. I mean, you know what? For the longest time, words have been a difficult thing for me, right? Because I'm coming from a different country where I've learned two other languages. My grandparents came from different countries who I actually picked up their languages. So whenever I came to this country, my language, my English was really different. I actually basically created my own language. It was Ronit language. So if anybody speaks Ronit, as my friend Stacy will say, then you're doing really well. Okay. But every once in a while, I come up with like a different pronunciation, and you say to yourself, oh, I love that accent. But you know what? It just didn't work in my mouth. So here we go. Now, why do I talk about those words? Because words are so important. There's nothing more important than communication. And there's nothing more important than content. And there's so much content out there that how can you differentiate yourself from all of the content out there? And it is important to bring sometimes help to help you get there with copy, with different type of copy. So we're going to talk about that today with my guest today. But before that, I do want to just let everybody know that American's Beauty Show is going live in September, and we're starting September 11th. It's going to be 3 days, and I'm super stoked about America's Beauty Show. We're going to have so many great educators. We're going to have a lot of fun things. We're going to have Huddle Time on stage. We're going to have so many great guests, and the more we have more information, the more you guys will know. But if you wanted to go and buy your ticket, this is the time to do it, because right now, not only that you buy a ticket, you get memberships with that. And in your memberships, all you have to go is to americasbeautyshow.com and find out all the wonderful things that are coming with a membership. Now, another thing that I want to share with everybody is, I don't know if you ever heard about the Profit First. The Profit First, and by the way, I am just about to release my book, who I writing and almost done with it, Profit First for salons. And Profit First is a cash flow management system who is practiced for over 200,000 businesses around the world. Now, the beautiful thing about the Profit First, as it is saying, maybe the word profit is not very sexy. I agree. There's something about the word profit that is not very sexy, but it allows us to do many sexy things. Okay. There's so many great sexy things that you can do with the word, when you have profit, right? So if you wanted to know everything and anything about numbers that apply to your profit, that apply to your business profit, doesn't matter whether you are a 5-figure professional or 7 or 8 figures company, There's over thousands of companies that practice the profit first in their company in several departments to bring profit into your company overnight. Yes, I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. Overnight. And so if you want to learn anything and everything about the profit first methodology, profit first for salons and spas, join us on May 24 at 1 o'clock, where we're going to be sharing a class about the profit first. You don't want to miss that. So, okay, so where are we going next? Tonight, I'm going to present to you my very good friend who works with Salon Cadence. Thank God, because I don't know, my words don't come out easy to the website. Her name is Llacey Simmons, and she has been copywriting for has an experience in copywriting for over 10 plus years. And not only with just small companies, but Fortune 500 companies, right? She's been writing their copy. She developed everything that that you can even think so when it comes to words. But the most important thing, she believes in story and how you tell your story, and how stories, telling your story and stories, correlate with your business more than any other times right now. So without further ado, hello, Llacey. So good to see you here tonight.
Hi, thank you for
Happy
having
Monday.
me. Happy Monday to you as well.
So you're in Sarasota, and so am I.
I am.
So did you end up going to the beach today at all? Because it was
actually
90
did.
degrees today.
It was, and so I told my son this morning that I would go work on the beach so he could go play, and I could get the inspiration from the ocean to create this morning.
Got it. So what were you doing on the beach today?
Yeah, I mean, we were just soaking in the sun, and then I was, crafting a bio and different pieces of copy that I owe to a couple of clients. So it's nice to be out. It's nice to be out in nature, though. That usually gives me inspiration to just feel in a different space and a different creative flow. So
yeah, I agree. I just absolutely adore the beach. It's like my favorite place in the whole world.
Very cool.
I love it. Living in Tel Aviv for the first 22 years of my life, it's every day I was at the beach. So it's my inspiration. I mean, I actually created the first Maxime salon by walking at the beach and imagining to myself, what am I going to open? What is it going to look like? What is my beach going to look like? That's my story. And so we're going to talk about stories today, and I'm super excited. So Llacey, tell me, what is copywriting? I mean, it's just so confusing. There's so many, statements when it comes to writing. What's the difference between copywriting and editorial? And I don't know, what is copywriting?
Yeah, I mean, so just on a basic level, I know a lot of times when I tell people I'm a copywriter, they automatically think that I do things with either trademarks or patents, thinking in that sense of copywriting. But copywriting in the writing sense is really a language. I always talk about it's a language of storytelling, and a way of trying to tap into your ideal client's mind and really think the way that they think, find words that are going to compel them or resonate with them to take a specific action. And so for copywriting, a lot of what I do specifically is just sit and reflect and think about the words, the images, the feelings, the emotions, the problems, the frustrations, and all of those things that really your ideal client might be sorting through, and how we can kind of break through that white noise of their everyday life to present them with a solution, whether it's a product or a service or a brand that's going to give them some type of relief or some type of benefit, and really using our words as a way to connect with them, to build those relationships and to entice them to take a next action, whether that action is picking up the phone and making a call, scheduling an appointment, going on a website, sending an email. But all of our work as a copywriter is really action driven. What can we do to get someone to take an action?
Which is really cool. And I'm not going to get into the meat of it yet, because I know there's going to be a lot I like to say. But I love that you're saying, the copywriting allows people to take an action. And at the end of the day, for any kind of business, that's what we're looking for. We're looking to convert. We're looking to convert from readership into an action, some sort of an action. So, what is important in the words that you see today that is more relevant than ever to use today, then I mean, is it like writing an article? Is it like writing a segment in a book? Is it like writing a blog? What is the important thing about using a copywriting method?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest part about it that makes it very different than just kind of standard blog writing or any other marketing related writing is the time and energy that a copywriter puts into really personifying and connecting with what that ideal client may be maybe challenged with. So in this COVID space, I mean, we have to be mindful that the consumer, whoever they may be, our ideal clients, are navigating all of these different frustrations and challenges of the world. And so for us to kind of break through some of those things, we have to really be clear on what are the benefits that we can give them. So for example, you know, I'm a single mom. I have an 8-year-old. And so for me, what usually draws me now in terms of things that I see online, in terms of things that make me want to take action or click, is anything that kind of conveys a sense of simplicity, something that's simple, that's going to make my life easier, or that's going to help me tap into something that I feel like I'm missing. And so I think brands of all kinds have the opportunity really to put forward that key benefit that clients, that their ideal clients are looking for right now, whether that's being able to tap into who they are, have a sense of joy, have calm. So there's a lot of ways really that if we sit and think of all of the different possibilities that our products and our services can offer someone, I think we have the opportunity to elevate our messaging to really connect with what the post-pandemic consumer is really looking for. And a lot of times it's not the lowest cost, it's not, and sometimes it might not even be high quality. It might be things that are emotionally driven, like connection or peace or ease or joy. And so really thinking about those human emotions that we've honestly been lacking for some of us for the past year and a half now are really great ways to infuse into your copy to have it kind of break through the mundane of here's a low cost thing, here's something on sale, but really think through what is it that our ideal clients want to feel that they're not feeling that we can help them feel.
Wow, I love that. So you said the word messaging, and I think that's powerful. And if you take the emotions that people are actually looking for now to resonate in when they land on your, let's say, your landing page, or they land on your website, or they read something on Instagram, or they read something on Facebook, or even in a video, the words needs to be so connecting and provoke them with some sort of emotions that they can relate to. This is the place I want to come to.
Exactly.
So, for example, in let's take hair salons, for example. I think what people are, and maybe you have an insight of what people really looking for right now, is a simple way to come in, to have joy, because they have not had the joy of being in a hair salon. So what are the feelings that we can talk about, and at the same time to be safe, knowing that they are safe there? Okay. What else do you think that this is relevant times to speak about?
Yeah, the biggest thing, and you probably hear this in conversation all the time, is everyone wants connection. We want to feel connected to someone outside. I mean, a lot of us have kind of been quarantined in a small little space. And so we're craving that connection with the outside world. And I think for salons specifically, that gives them that, to your point, a safe space to go, to be connected with those around them, and to also be in a place where they can be vulnerable. Some people may not have done their hair, felt beautiful in a year because we've been in this work from home space. And so really being able to have a safe place that they can go with people that they trust, building those connections again, and then leave and feel as powerful as they are is a really compelling message to put forward, in this space as we start to open up and try to resume in this new normal.
Okay, and the new normal, like you said, should have a lot of love in it, and a lot of, hey guys, something like reaching out to all of you who have not received the most beautiful, unbelievable head and shoulder massage for the past year. We have an amazing music and tunes are playing, and the smell of coffee is running through. And by the way, we serve wine with that. And we're just totally missing you. And even though we cannot hug completely yet, we do hug with, I don't know, with something. Is that
Yeah.
advice like
Yeah,
that?
that's exactly it. And keeping in mind too that the words that we string together, if we do it in the right way, quote unquote, right way, we can really create a visual image for them in their minds too of what this means. So you had those great words like amazing and neck massage, and you can almost kind of feel like how that would feel as you're reading it. And that's really what we want to be able to do as well, is to have the words be our bridge to not just, pulling their kind of heartstrings or their emotions to help them make an action, but also almost putting them in that experience as they're reading it, so that gets them that much closer to wanting to take that action. And so we have a lot of, I mean, in copywriting, we do a lot of different psychology components that we weave into the words and the way that we craft the words together. But the more that we can even kind of describe, so like you said, maybe it's a plush couch. We have new plush couches in our lobby, or we have, a brand new, water filter that gives you, sparkling clear water that, gives you a sense of relief from a hot day. Like even describing the ambiance that they can walk into, or the new things that you've put into the salon to really elevate the experience in a way that really brings it forward and helps them kind of feel it. Those are also really important components as well.
I love it. I think you just hit something also very smart. Like you came back and you said new. I think the
Mm-hmm.
word new is so important. We have new brand couches, and we have new brand, music system, and
Mm-hmm.
you got we got your own headset, and I think brand new is so important right now because everybody wants to feel renewed. And
Yeah.
then that the people investing in new things.
Yes. Another big word too is private. So I see that a lot in messaging too. Like a lot of people in this space, we have people that have different levels of comfort with going out in the world now, since we still are in the pandemic, that private, the word private or self-contained, those words that really kind of convey another layer of safety, but still being able to be in the experience, but you have a private studio or a private room or a private, private appointment. That word private in and of itself too is now creating almost a whole new like premium elite safe um, connotation that I think 2 years ago might not have had that same feel.
And so, Lacey, what got you started in this career with the world of words? How did you start, and what made you want to go through a pursuit of happiness of words?
Yeah, actually, I mean, so I was severely bullied as a child. And for me, like words were always my way to escape and create this reality that I wanted to live in. But, as you are told going through the school system, that we're not necessarily pushed to be writers, right? A lot of times we're pushed to be doctors and scientists and things that seem more notable. So I always loved writing. I particularly like enjoyed writing short stories and poetry. And it wasn't until I'd gone through undergrad and my master's program in business that I decided to just start doing research. So I ended up helping a couple startups do market research and create business plans for them to pitch to investors to get funding. And it's from that space of kind of doing market research and helping them craft a compelling message to be able to resonate with investors that really propelled me in this space of copywriting. And I had never heard of copywriting before. I knew about marketing and I knew about blog writing and article things like that, but I didn't know what copywriting specifically was. And so I came across the certification. I actually took the course just for fun, and from there, that's kind of where it started. I ended up getting a freelance project with an entrepreneur in Atlanta who was actually working with a network of other entrepreneurs that were looking for copywriters. And he, gave me my first project as kind of a test project, and I did really well with it. And so he kind of turned me on to a bunch of other clients, and that's kind of where it grew. And that was about 11 years ago now. So I'm really
Wow.
thankful to have found copywriting because I'm like, this is exactly what I like. I like the research aspect of it. I like the human element too of really being able to sit and think through how I want people to feel when they read the words that I write. And that's really what appeals to me most, is kind of that whole process, and then being able to bring it forward and help clients, take the amazing visions and products and services they have for the world, and really help them elevate it and get that message out there to those ideal clients that really need those things that they're able to offer.
um it's quite amazing how you went into the startup world, and how it's so important to pitch uh, messaging. So it's almost like you
Right.
have to take everything that is in your brain
Yes.
and bring it into such a concise message. And it's almost like, I don't know about you, but when I go on an explanation, I go on a rant. And then I need somebody to just take whatever I say and just put it in a bullet, one or two bullets. So when somebody reads it, especially today when the attention span is a 2 seconds attention span. So when you read something, whether it's on IG or whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on whatever, there's a one line, and the one line is like boom, hook. How do you do that? How do you take 50 or 60 words and put it in one message that hooks you?
Yeah, and that's probably the hardest part of copywriting. And so when we see like those really quick phrases, and a lot of times too with social media, we're character limited as well, which adds in a whole nother component of trying to get as concise as possible. But those one-liners can easily take 3 or 4 hours, because to your point, we'll kind of dump it all out, and then it's a matter of kind of sorting through what can we delete, what can we edit, how can we make this sound easy, how can we take everything we want to say and convey it in 5 or 8 words. And that process in and of itself can take easily 4 to 5 hours, which usually surprises a lot of people. But I know my process, I usually just write a whole bunch of versions. Sometimes I'll start saying it out loud, and as I'm saying it out loud, I'll ask myself, how could I summarize this in a sentence? And then I'll use that summary sentence to then try to keep continually like chopping it down. But it definitely is a science and an art to trying to get as concise as possible without, to your point, losing the meaning and the value of what you're wanting to convey.
Now, if with your permission, I'm going to go a little bit backwards. And you said that you were bullying through your childhood at school. Was it school or even before that?
It was actually school and at home. So I was kind of getting it on 2 fronts.
Okay. 2 fronts. But you said that words helped you through it.
Right.
So how did it help you through it?
Yeah, so a lot of what I would do, I originally started by writing poetry. So I was probably, my first recollection is probably 1st grade, as soon as I could learn how to write. And I think a lot of it was inventive spelling, of me trying to sound words out that I didn't know how to spell. But a lot of it was me just like taking what I was feeling. And sometimes I would write write about the negative feelings that I was feeling. But a lot of times I'd also kind of channel what I wanted to feel, and kind of creating this art through my words of how I wanted the world to be, how I wanted to be treated, how I wanted to see myself in the world. And I usually do that every night. And that was my way of kind of coping through the process of that, and really trying to reflect on the control that I did have. And at that time, my words were the only thing that I felt like I had control over, because I could create whatever I wanted to create, whether it was a poem, whether it was a story, whether it was a mixture of the two.
Writing.
Yeah.
Hey, Llacey, I just lost you for a second. I think it was a glitch on my internet. But from what I heard is that it's through words. You literally described your feelings, and by putting the feelings on a paper and not keeping it inside you, that was like a way to co-op with everything. And
exactly.
So the words are so powerful, and the act of writing is actually an act of mechanism of defense, healing.
Yeah, I always say like writing is really our voice, right? It's our power. As much as we might be moving away from a society that writes, we don't write as much as I would like us to. But really, our words are, whether they're verbal or written, are really our power. It's what's in our soul of what we want the world, how we want to show up, and how we want the world to see us. And so I value, all the work. Anything that I write, I never throw it away. So I have tons and tons of Google documents and papers everywhere. But I do value the power that are in the words, because there's truth that's in them.
It's funny, and I am writing a book, right? I'm writing The Profit First for Salons, and it's going to come out soon. Oh my God. Well, I guess soon is a big word, but today I was writing my last chapter. And I've been writing the last chapter for the past 4 months.
Oh.
And for the longest time, I go back where I left it and I continue from that. Like where I left, I continue and I scroll back on my Word document and I just like maybe change a little bit. But for the first time, I got up. I think I got up yesterday morning at 4:30 in the morning, and that's when I'm at my best writing. And I got up and also creative. So I got up at 4:30 in the morning, and I went back, and then I said to myself, "The hell with what I wrote so far. I'm starting this fresh." So I'm going into a very clean page.
Mm-hmm.
And now I didn't look at what I've written so far for the past 50 million times, but now I was writing. And the act of writing new words, new chapter, was so much cleaner and so much concise after all this time of me writing and looking at the words and looking at the words. And then now I had a blank page. And I thought, oh my God, there's got to be a reason why starting fresh and being on a blank page has some sense of clarity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I always say it means you're not tied to whatever's already there. A lot of times, when we're working off of something, whether we've created it or it's been passed down to us, I know I usually feel kind of this obligation to stick with what's already there. And sometimes, even if it's something I've created, I'm not in that same headspace. I'm not in that mind frame. And so it becomes hard for me to create because I feel like I'm stuck in this rigid structure that's already there. Whereas to your point, if we start new, there's nothing there to stick to. We can create it however we want to create it. We can shape it in that moment to whatever we want to shape it to be. And I mean, I think that's the power of what we all have. I always say that everyone has the inner copywriter inside of them. It's just a matter of kind of getting clear on what it is we want to say, how we want to say it. But I mean, and that's why one of the unique things that I find about the copywriting industry is there is no degree that you can go and get. There is no copywriting degree. And actually, for a lot of the copywriters and the most successful ones that I've worked with, they come from all types of backgrounds. They might have economics degrees, history degrees, but, and I say that to say, it's probably one of the few industries where you can make very good money, work with lots of amazing people and hear lots of amazing stories. And it all just comes from your passion of wanting to listen and help and then just use words.
Yeah. And words are really what you need in order to call any kind of call to action.
Right.
They have to convert. So for those of you who are just joining us and just coming on board, I'm speaking to Llacey Simmons, who is Salon Cadence copywriting coach. She works with our clients. She's trying to help them create their copywriting and their content so they can stand out. And obviously, Llacey works with us and working on Salon Cadence copywriting and helped me a lot articulate. I mean, in every aspect of the business, whether you go to the website, we have 2 websites, every page matters, every message matters. So how can you stand out from everybody else with copywriting?
Yeah. Now, when you work with a copywriter, or a good copywriter, I should say, they really should take the time to do 2 things. One, market research to understand your industry and your space and kind of what are other people saying, not as a way to copy them, but just to be aware of what kind of messaging is already out there, maybe there be some gaps that you might be able to kind of elevate above and beyond what everyone else is saying. And then another chunk of that time is really getting clear on learning your story and getting in alignment with your voice and how you want your business to be represented, what your big goal is, your vision, or spiritual vision, some people might call it. And so it's a mix of mirroring or combining those 2 together. What's the industry already saying? What does this client want to achieve? What do they want to say? How do they want to stand out? And using those together to really create this force, which I call messaging, to then be able to put forward a really clear and concise message and promise that when someone lands on that page, it immediately stands out. Whether, it stands out word wise, and obviously words can be enhanced by the images and the design that you might have on your website, but you want those words to really stand out and They don't have to be complex words. Sometimes they're the most simplest words you can think of, but you want that promise or that message to be really clear and to resonate with your ideal client.
Yes, yeah, and I think when we met for the first time, I went through an interview with you. You literally interview me, and you interviewed me for quite some time, and then you went into the discovery and the research for everything, and then you gave me a timeline of what you're going to give me for each and one of those elements that you thought I needed to level up my messaging. And we continue working together because it's ever evolving. So it's really nice for anybody who's here. It's really, 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 really nice, but it's very, 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 freedom of time when you work with a copywriter, because there's posts that you can get help, clarifying the messaging, how you are unique in your neighborhood, how your different salon, your different spa, using the right vibe. What is the vibe that goes on in your salon? So there's a question there that says, does Llacey have an IG page? And Llacey doesn't have an Instagram page. No.
Well, I will say this. I don't have a personal Instagram page. My son does have. We have a nonprofit, and my son's nonprofit has an Instagram page.
Okay.
But I don't have a personal one.
Well, you can reach out to Llacey. We're going to give you all of her details right here, and we're going to actually talk about how you can meet Llacey and maybe get going on your copywriting, because it's so important. Now, you just brought Kavanaugh into the picture, so I want to bring him into the picture. Kavanaugh is amazing. Wow, what a creation, Llacey.
Yes.
What a creation, and kudos to you, obviously.
I appreciate that.
Tell us about Kavanaugh. And I do have the YouTube video. I'd love to share it with the world. But as I'm sharing it to the world, I'd love for you to share everything about Kavanaugh.
So I'll do it in a short, concise as I possibly can. But my son Kavanaugh is 8 years old. He would tell you that he is a bullying prevention and youth suicide awareness activist. And so he actually was bullied in preschool for doing work faster than the other kids. And so in my way as his mom, once he revealed to me kind of what was happening, to try to empower him, I wanted him to know that his voice mattered and his feelings mattered. So I actually helped him go to the mayor of our city in Maryland. And he actually gave a short little speech to the mayor and asked to get a day dedicated for bullying prevention. And the mayor granted his request. And in that process of me just really coaching him and empowering him to use his words to speak up and to get action, he looked at me, he said, I want to keep doing this. And so in January 2019, we started Cool and Dope, which is a nonprofit organization that's on a mission to end bullying worldwide by 2030. And so Kavanaugh and I truly believe we'll be able to do that by creating leadership opportunities for kids of all ages so that they can feel powerful to speak up and to speak out, whether they're being bullied or whether they see bullying happening. And so we've been able to create, dozens of leadership opportunities in our community and across the country where kids can get involved and they can step up and be, active participants in the community. And when we have no age limit on any of our activities, volunteer activities we do, our youngest volunteer has been 3 years old. And then our oldest has been 87. So we span the gamut of who we allow to come and help us. We've been able to send 3 tractor trailer trucks to the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. And then we also opened up a community pantry in response to the pandemic where we were able to serve 16,000 people in 11 months.
Which is amazing. And here I'm going to be playing with it.
Hi, my name is Kavanaugh. I'm a bullying prevention activist, and I also love to help my community. Hey guys, I'm out there cleaning pantry, and I'm helping people. I was employed. I was 5, and I don't want other kids to feel the darkness that I felt.
I was bullied before when I was in preschool for doing work faster than others, and I didn't eat for 11 weeks because I had a darkness inside of me, and that's why I asked my mom if I could start my own nonprofit called Cool and Do.
I dream big.
You dream big. So big that Kavanaugh Bell, at 4 feet tall, filled two 53-foot trailers to help people he'd never met.
I don't know about you, but I was not doing this at 7 years old. Let's meet Kavanaugh Bell right away. Kavanaugh, what you are doing is absolutely fantastic. Your shirt says it all. Heart of Gold. Tell me about your community pantry, what it's called, and why did you start it?
When the pandemic hit, I didn't want my grandma to catch the coronavirus. So I used my life savings to help her and her friends. And a bunch of people heard my story, and I was able to open up a community pantry to help thousands of people. But I didn't do it alone. I had so many kid positivity creators to help me help others. And the cool part is, I had some really important people recognize my work.
The president heard about the Baltimore first grader and gave him a shout out from the White House.
In Maryland, a 7-year-old boy used his own birthday money to buy meals for dozens of senior citizens.
I got bipartisan support, Kamala Harris and President Trump.
I want to speak to lawmakers to raise awareness about bullying so they can help me stop it.
I've helped 8,126 people. So I guess you could say I'm kind of busy.
Do you get nervous talking to important, famous people like Kamala Harris?
No.
You hope people will be inspired
Yeah.
to do what?
To just do what I'm doing and change the world.
And help other people.
Yeah. I opened up the Love is Better COVID-19 community pantry because I'm trying to do this every week because people really need it until coronavirus stops. I'm not giving up. Round the world, random acts of kindness are lifting all of our spirits. And it turns out that heroes come in all sizes and all ages. So I hope to inspire you to unlock your magic so we can all make the world a better place. I love you guys. And I'm Kavanaugh. I'm going to change the world.
Wow. What an amazing kid. Wow. And here we go. This is the story. So by telling his story and by somebody hearing about the story, that became very viral.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's one of the things that we always want when we do interviews is to make it's important for us to share our story from a place of inspiration, but also from a place of power too, because there's so many kids that are being bullied that don't feel powerful or encouraged or supported to tell their story. And so, Kavanaugh wants his story to be kind of a launch point for, thousands, if not millions of other people that may be experiencing a really hard time, to use that to channel that darkness into something positive. And if nothing else, to build this a massive community where we're able to be vulnerable, we're able to share our story, even if it's not the most flattering of stories to share, but there's power in everyone's story that, it's really through Cool and Dope that we hope to inspire people to speak up and to speak out.
And it is exactly what it is. What a powerful story Kavanaugh has, and you as his mother, and supporting through all of this, and looking to see what words are actually doing for you guys. So that's pretty amazing. And for anybody who's interested, all the details are right here at our on our page. So I guess if we can give nuggets, a couple of good nuggets for all the professionals out there in the beauty industry, how can you capture your words? And Llacey, maybe even you can tell how you work with people and about your great offers for America's Beauty Show tonight. Maybe we can help some more people.
Yeah, I would definitely say, to answer the first part of your question, in terms of some copywriting nuggets that I'd be love to offer, I would say the biggest thing is to really get clear on your story. So what's the why? I always say not the why, but what's the why behind the why? So usually when we kind of get deeper on what is it that made me want to, enter into the beauty industry? A lot of times there's beautiful stories. Maybe it was a time where you were able to connect with your grandmother. I know, my mom, for us, my sister would do my hair sometimes. And when she did, I was always so excited. So maybe there's like a story behind, maybe that was a time for your family to come together. Maybe you have a very, very fond memory of a special occasion and you loved how it made you feel and you want to create that same feeling for your clients. But really getting clear on what is that story behind why you're doing this and using that energy and what that story represents to kind of bring it forward in all of your messaging. And I think that's going to be one of the most powerful things that we can do in this space of really building connections. Because we want, in this post-pandemic environment, we want to create connections because we haven't had them, but we also want to create connections in everything that we read, everything that we see, everything that we hear. And so people gravitate to those stories. And so, who knows? Someone reading your story, and let's say, for example, you decide to share as part of your brand story of why you're doing what you're doing, is maybe, getting your hair done was an important tradition in your family. And then maybe it was, created a happy time that you really think fondly of when you would look back. That feeling could be something too that someone reads and also connects with. Maybe they had a similar thing, or maybe they aspired to have that similar feeling growing up and they didn't. So really being in a space of being open to being authentic and sharing your story from this place of vulnerability, I always say, can really help take your messaging to a whole new level without having to overcomplicate it. And that's the beauty. The beauty of great copywriting is that it should be authentic and actually simplistic. And the more we can get clear on our why, the easier it is for it to be a simple message that has so much power to it. And I would love, to open up the opportunity to do kind of 10 1-hour consults, for 10 people that may be interested in wanting to dive deeper into how to start putting these brand story elements together. I open it up for Ronit, whoever may be interested in taking advantage of that, for us to just connect for an hour. I can ask you the questions that I normally ask you and kind of go through the process. And hopefully by the end of that hour, we have kind of a shell to work with. And if you decide to continue working with me beyond that point, happy to help you flush that brand story out and bring it forward into your messaging. If not, if nothing else, you have a nice template or shell that you can then work off of and build yourself as well.
I love it. And it's worth it, guys, because you really get clarity on your story and you can use your story. So with Salon Cadence, that's what we do. We identify the story of each of our clients, why they started the salon, what resonate with them, what's the real why behind the why, and then how do we bring it up to every element in their site. So even for something like, if you guys are considering this, for anybody who is in the hair restoration business, why did you decide to specialize in hair restoration? Why did you decide to specialize in men's barbering? Why did you decide to specialize in only cutting? Or why did you decide to go into skincare? Maybe you grew in a phase that you had, I don't know, really troubles with your skin, and you really, I remember working with one of our clients who said that she wanted to be a hygienist. And because she loved beautiful teeth, because she didn't have beautiful teeth, and she always wanted to smile. And when she saw somebody's big smile, she really wanted to become a hygienist. She just wanted to create beautiful teeth. And she ended up saying, you know what? I can create the same smiles by doing hair. So that's why I'm going for it. So, there's a lot of great stories to bring. And what if you showcased your client's story? And what if you showcase your staff stories? Now it's even, on steroids, how powerful those words are. So, but just doing that, guys, that's what differentiates you from everybody around you. That is $1 million nugget. $1 million nugget.
Exactly. Because you want people to say, I want to go to that salon because I attached to that story that she shared with me. And now I feel a sense of pride to now be able to share that space with that person. And that's really all of what, you know, copywriting and building brands are all about, is being able to build those connections with strangers because we share that common experience, that common human element.
I'm into that. So, well, thank you, Llacey. This has been such a powerful words. You know, you're so amazing. You're such a pleasure to talk to. To me, it's a therapy to just listen to you.
I appreciate it. That's the goal. I always say I want to live a life poured out. That's my personal mission. And so I always want to pour, whether it's energy, I always say good vibes, words, whatever I can pour out is what I want to do.
Yeah, and it is what I also adore about you. You live the life that you want. You work the work that you like, and you create the life that you want based on work-life balance, and that's what we are all supportive of. So, for everybody who's listening to us, the power is in the words. And for anybody who wants to learn how to look at my Profit First ads, look at the Profit First webinar that is coming up on the 24th. You know, you want to huddle down on your profit and get a really strong wealth in your company so you can afford Llacey Simmons. Okay, that's how it goes. But thank you so much for the offer.
Of course.
The first 10 people to sign up with Llacey, she's giving you a 1-hour discovery and copywriting magic, I call it. And yeah. And then for anybody who wants to find you, we have all the details right there. And I'll see you guys next Monday. We have another great show, and we'll talk to you then. Yeah, happy Monday and have an amazing week, guys. All right, Llacey, hold on. Don't hang up. I'm just going to end the broadcast. Bye, everybody.